Hey friends, tonight we wander softly into forgotten graveyards, where moonlight glimmers on moss-covered stones, and the whispers of unseen spirits linger in silence. We'll drift gently through ancient myths, ghostly tales, and centuries of spirit lore, carried not by frantic stories or startling scares, but by calm, lingering descriptions and timeless legends. In this space, you leave the constant glare of screens and the relentless hum of the modern world behind. You step into a quieter, older realm, one that exists just alongside our own, hidden behind ivy-draped walls and wrought iron gates that have long since rusted shut. You might feel the absence of your smartphone here, but it hardly matters. The only notifications are the subtle sounds of nature, the whisper of a breeze, the distant rustle of leaves, the occasional call of a nocturnal bird. Before we begin, if you enjoy this quiet journey, feel free to like the video and subscribe only if it genuinely resonates with you. I'd love for you to share in the comments where you're re-listening from and what time it is there. It's always fascinating to see how far and wide we gather in these shared moments. Now, create a comfortable space around you. Dim the lights. Perhaps turn on a fan or some gentle background noise for a soft, steady hum. Let your body relax and your mind settle as we prepare to step together into tonight's exploration, moving slowly into a world of calm, reflection, and quiet wonder. You take your first step onto the gravel path of an ancient burial ground. Your feet crunch softly on the small stones, a sound that seems startlingly loud in the overwhelming quiet, yet fleeting and insignificant in the grand stillness. A low, mossy stone wall, thick with centuries of ivy, delineates this sacred space. The air feels cooler here, stiller, and somehow heavier, infused with the damp, earthy scent of moss, fallen leaves, and soil slowly returning to the earth. The fading light of evening clings to the tops of the oldest headstones, illuminating them in a gentle silver glow. They lean at various angles, as though an assembly of silent spectators frozen in contemplation, waiting for visitors who have long ceased to come. You begin to wander slowly along the main path, allowing your eyes to adjust to the encroaching darkness. Your hand brushes against the cold, rough surface of a granite marker. The centuries-worn grooves of letters carved long ago are faint under your touch, smoothed by countless rains, snowfalls, and sunlit days. The names are almost lost to memory, faint whispers of lives once lived. One stone catches your eye, a delicate carving of a weeping willow, its slender branches cascading downward. This was a Victorian symbol of sorrow and mourning, an enduring grief captured in stone, expressing the human heart's quiet ache for those no longer here. A large oak tree spreads its sturdy branches over a wooden bench, perfectly positioned as a resting place beneath its shade. You sink onto the bench, letting the solid, unyielding wood support your weight. From here, the graveyard unfolds like a gentle slope, descending into quiet shadows. The last rays of sunlight fade behind distant trees, painting the sky in soft gradients of violet and deepening blue. Tiny points of starlight begin to emerge, faint pinpricks in the vast celestial canvas above. You take a slow, measured breath, feeling the tension of the day melt with each exhale. You are not here to solve mysteries, to search for ghosts, or to be startled. You are a visitor, an observer of silence, memory, and the subtle poetry of the night. Above you, fireflies begin their quiet, hypnotic dance. Their warm, yellow glow flickers intermittently between the headstones, creating a rhythm almost musical in its gentle cadence. Their tiny lanterns float in and out of view, reminding you that even in forgotten spaces, there is life, movement, and fleeting magic. The chorus of crickets rises gradually, filling the air with a soft, constant hum. It is a simple, natural lullaby, vibrating subtly through the ground, through the stones, through your very body. It is a song that has been sung here for centuries, a testament to the constancy of life even in spaces devoted to remembrance of death. The shadows deepen and sway with the gentle motion of the night breeze. You notice how the oldest stones have softened under the moss, forming small shells and ridges that collect dew. Some stones are cracked or tilted, bearing the visible scars of time. Yet there is no sadness here, only the quiet dignity of endurance. Every stone tells a story, every mark of weathering a reminder that time moves both slowly and inexorably, that memory and loss coexist in delicate balance. You notice small details. The faint sparkle of quartz embedded in a granite slab catching the moonlight like a tiny fallen star. The subtle scent of damp leaves and rich soil mingling with the crisp air. The slow, determined movement of a hedgehog or beetle busy with its own nightly tasks, unconcerned with human presence. The graveyard is alive in subtle ways, a quiet ecosystem where life continues in the shadows of remembrance. A sense of profound peace settles over you. Everything feels exactly as it should be. The moon high above, the gentle sway of the trees, the slow pulse of life among the gravestones. There is no need to hurry, to check your watch, to rush toward tomorrow. The day is done. The night is yours to inhabit fully, with your senses open, with your mind at ease, and with your heart attuned to the silent stories around you. The world seems both immense and intimately familiar here. Network of lives, memories, and quiet gestures extending far beyond your own perception. By simply being present, by noticing the small wonders of this hidden place, you participate in the continuation of memory itself. Each step, each glance, each breath is an acknowledgement that these lives are not forgotten, that the quiet dignity of remembrance is alive in you. In this space, in this moment, the weight of the world falls away, leaving only peace, observation, and the timeless, gentle rhythm of the night. You watch as the moon rises steadily above the dark outline of the trees, its pale, silvery light becoming the primary illumination in the graveyard. The world beneath it is transformed, the familiar shapes of headstones and statues shifting into something new, softly mysterious, and quietly reverent. Shadows stretch long across the grass, deepening around each monument, lending them a sense of gravitas and hidden life. Every ridge of stone, every curve of a carved letter is accentuated in this lunar light, as if the world itself is speaking in a language of shadow and silver. The graveyard is rendered in a spectrum of monochrome, a living photograph, delicate and profound, each detail both subtle and startling. The practice of placing burial grounds near villages stretches back through countless cultures and centuries. People sought to keep their ancestors physically close, to feel the presence of those who came before as a steady part of daily life. It was a tangible connection between generations, a quiet assurance that the past remained near, guarding, reminding, and witnessing. Your gaze catches a patch of quartz embedded in a granite slab nearby, its surface glinting sharply in the moonlight, like a fragment of the night sky fallen to the earth. The small sparkle feels miraculous, a secret jewel set among the solemn stones. You listen to the distant hoot of an owl, its lonely, resonant call weaving through the quiet like an ancient song. The sound is at once solitary and comforting, echoing the stillness around you without breaking it. A soft breeze stirs the leaves of an old oak tree overhead, and you notice how the moonlight catches the moss growing on the northern faces of the stones, giving them a faint ethereal glow, as though they too remember the lives buried beneath. The air has grown cooler, crisp against your skin, and you draw your jacket a little tighter, not out of fear, but out of an instinctive awareness of the night's gentle embrace. Your eyes move across the cemetery, taking in the variety of monuments. Some stand tall and proud, their inscriptions and carvings painstakingly detailed, declaring the names, ranks, and accomplishments of those within. Others are smaller, sunken, or weathered into near anonymity. Then there is a section that is simpler still, consisting of rough-hewn stones without inscriptions or decoration. These are the nameless graves, places where identity has been lost to time. Perhaps they hold the remains of paupers, forgotten travelers, or victims of long-ago plagues. The anonymity of these markers imbues the space with a quiet dignity. Even when society cannot remember a name, it still provides a resting place. This small, humble corner of the yard feels almost sacred, a reminder that silence and equality are the final, universal markers of mortality. A gentle wind passes through the leaves of the oak above you, making a soft, sighing sound that seems to ripple across the entire cemetery. A cloud drifts slowly over the moon, casting a shadow that slides across the grass with the quiet elegance of a ghost. Your eyes fall on a single wildflower placed at the base of one of the anonymous stones. Its presence is tender, fragile, a silent acknowledgement that someone, somewhere, remembers. The petals are closed for the night, patiently awaiting the morning light. The gesture feels intimate and profound, a bridge between the present and the forgotten past, a quiet act of connection across centuries. You find yourself contemplating the countless untold stories resting beneath the soil. These were lives lived fully, though without fanfare or record. You do not feel sorrow, only a contemplative awareness, a recognition of the vast human tapestry, each thread important even if unseen. The moon continues its slow journey across the sky, and your own thoughts begin to quiet, shedding the urgency and clutter of the day. The cool air fills your lungs, crisp and fresh, and as you exhale, a faint, misty cloud forms briefly before vanishing into the night. The bench beneath you is solid, steady, a grounding presence in the midst of this quiet expanse. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing the world to be experienced solely through sound, touch, and scent. You hear the soft rustle of a small creature, perhaps a hedgehog, trudging through the underbrush at the edge of the wall, its movements purposeful yet unobtrusive. Life continues here in its cycles, humble and constant, quietly coexisting with memory and history. The graveyard feels enormous yet intimate, ancient yet alive, a space in which your own smallness is comforting rather than diminishing. Time seems suspended. There is no pressure to move forward, no expectation to act or decide. Only the cool night air, the silvered light of the moon, the faint sparkle of quartz, the rustle of leaves, and the subtle presence of life quietly going about its business. Your body relaxes into the bench, your muscles unburdening themselves, and a sense of calm spreads through you, unhurried and whole. You breathe in rhythm with the night, each inhalation drawing in serenity, each exhalation releasing tension and concern. The world around you feels at once vast and intimately known, a delicate web of lives, memories and small, unnoticed gestures. Moonlight drapes the stones in silver, shadows stretch and mingle with the gentle sway of the breeze, and tiny sparks of life glimmer in hidden corners, composing a quiet symphony of wonder. Here, remembrance transcends names or dates. It is about noticing, being present, and honoring the echoes of those who came before. Every step, every pause, every breath taken in this space becomes part of the ongoing act of memory. By simply observing, you contribute to the living continuity of history, a silent acknowledgement that these lives are not forgotten. The air is still, yet full of whispers. The sigh of leaves, the rustle of moss, the distant call of the night's creatures. You are present, fully immersed in the quiet beauty of history and nature intertwined. The need to be anywhere else melts away, leaving only the serenity of the moonlit graveyard and the steady, peaceful rhythm of your own breathing. The world is very large, very old, and you feel your small part in it with a calm that is profound, enduring and gentle, like a secret shared between the night and yourself. You open your eyes and let them adjust fully to the soft glow of the moon, which spills across the graveyard in silver light. Your gaze settles on a nearby headstone, one that is still legible despite the centuries it has faced. The carved letters are sharp enough to trace with your eyes alone. Etched deeply into the slate as if the stone itself wanted to hold on to the memory it represents. The inscription is simple: Eleanor, beloved wife, 1789 to 1823. The name feels intimate, almost like a whisper across time. You imagine Eleanor herself, walking the world over 2 centuries ago, living a life so distant, and yet, in some ways, so familiar. She moved through a world without electricity, without engines, a world lit only by candles or fireplaces, where the nights were darker and the stars blazed more brightly. The rhythm of her days was dictated by the sun and the seasons, the ebb and flow of human labor and natural life. You wonder what she dreamed about, what she feared, how she loved, how she laughed, and what small pleasures filled her days. From the medieval period onward, it became increasingly common to mark graves with carved stones, especially for those who could afford it. Stone provided permanence, a way to assert identity, memory, and even social status in a world where life was fragile and fleeting. It was a human attempt to hold on to time, to make the ephemeral endure. You kneel slightly, reaching out to run your fingers over the deep-cut numbers of her dates. The dash between 1789 and 1823 strikes you with quiet gravity. That single line, so unassuming, contains an entire human existence, all the moments of joy, sorrow, hope, and despair condensed into a single unbroken thread. You feel the weight of it in your palm, in your mind, a reminder of the finality that touches every life. Below Eleanor's name, your eyes catch a symbol you do not recognize. It is small, like a hidden punctuation, a stylized beehive carved with care. Perhaps it was a mason's mark, or a symbol significant to her family, a puzzle from the past that hints at secrets long forgotten. Nearby, another headstone bears the carving of a draped urn, its neoclassical lines smooth and elegant. Such imagery was common, a visual shorthand for mortality, a quiet memento to remind the living of the cycles of life and death. The stone feels faintly warm beneath your fingers, having absorbed the day's sunlight, contrasting with the crisp coolness of the night air. You wander further, drawn to a more dramatic example of period symbolism. A winged skull stares back at you from another marker, the sculptor's chisel having captured the sharp angles of the skull and the delicate, outstretched feathers of its wings. The memento mori was not intended to frighten, but to remind people of life's brevity, to prompt virtue, mindfulness, and reflection. You marvel at the craftsmanship, each feather and curve shaped with patient skill, a dialogue between human creativity and mortality. Centuries later, the artistry remains intact, echoing the care of hands long gone. Moving quietly between the stones, you notice how families were grouped together. Larger, more ornate markers commemorate parents, while smaller stones mark the graves of children who died too young. The proximity of these stones tells an unspoken story of love and loss, of lives entwined and shared grief that has persisted across generations. Some of the marble glows softly in the moonlight, the swirling veins appearing like frozen clouds, ethereal and delicate, a quiet beauty emerging from the hard stone. The cemetery's quiet is absolute, but not oppressive. The faint crunch of your steps on gravel is the only sound, grounding you in the present while allowing your mind to drift freely among the stories embedded in the stones. You feel both a visitor and a witness, walking through a city of silence where each stone is a monument to an individual life once lived. You are not intruding here. You are remembering. By taking note, by holding their memory in your attention, you participate in a small act of preservation, a delicate thread linking past and present. Time seems suspended. The night feels still, almost sacred, as if the world itself has paused in recognition of all these lives. You pause more often than not merely to read, but to breathe, to absorb, to witness. The clarity of your mind mirrors the clarity of the scene around you. The weight of history presses gently, not as a burden, but as a comfort, a reminder that your existence is one chapter in a long, continuous narrative. You can sense the care, the hopes, the regrets, the loves that passed before you, lingering in the air like a faint perfume of memory. Above, the stars twinkle quietly, ancient witnesses to every story below. Their light seems in harmony with the soft silver glow on the stones, as if the heavens themselves are affirming the importance of each life remembered here. You allow your gaze to wander, noticing the subtle play of shadow and light, the way the moon creates soft halos around the edges of the stones, emphasizing their textures, their curves, and their permanence. The shapes of the letters, the carvings, the symbols, they all form a dialogue across centuries. You feel connected, a small thread in the tapestry of time, yet fully present in this serene night. You lean back slightly, taking in the vastness of the graveyard, the careful arrangement of stones, the stories embedded in every monument, and the quiet dignity of a place that has borne witness to countless human lives. For tonight, you are a silent observer, a guardian of memory in your own small way. Every breath you take is in sync with the stillness of this sacred space. You feel a deep calm, a sense of belonging in the continuum of time, as though the collective presence of those who came before offers you a rare, quiet gift, the gift of reflection, respect, and the gentle awareness of life's fragile beauty. The stars continue to gleam, the night remains hushed, and the city of silence holds you softly in its embrace, reminding you that these stories endure not in grand monuments, but in the quiet attention of those who pause to see them. Your wandering path leads you toward the oldest part of the graveyard, a secluded corner where time itself has settled into a deep and permanent stillness. The very air here feels different, thicker, and more profound, as if it is saturated with the quiet breath of centuries. The headstones stand as weathered monuments, their inscriptions patiently smoothed into gentle illegibility by the hands of wind and rain. They lean companionably against one another like old friends sharing a final silent secret, their hard edges softened by velvety cloaks of moss in shades of deep emerald and silver gray. In this hushed sanctuary, the ancient trees command the landscape. They rise as gnarled and massive sentinels, their forms seeming to be carved from the very darkness of the night itself. You feel yourself drawn to the most impressive among them, a yew tree whose immense presence feels less like a plant and more like a permanent monument, a living and breathing piece of the landscape's eternal soul. Its trunk is a colossal pillar of textured history, so vast it would easily take 3 people linking hands to encircle it. The bark is a rich tapestry of reddish-brown, twisted into deep, shadowy grooves that resemble the wrinkles on the face of a wise and slumbering elder. Its branches are a complex architecture of strength and grace, spreading wide and low in a canopy, so dense it creates a private world beneath. Some limbs are so heavy with the weight of their own years that they bow down to touch the earth. Yew trees are among the most long-lived organisms in Europe, silent witnesses to countless human stories. They were deliberately planted in sacred grounds, their evergreen needles a powerful symbol of eternal life, a quiet promise of resilience. The tree before you seems to drink the moonlight, its dark form a solid and deeply peaceful presence in the hushed night. You reach out, your fingers gently brushing against a cluster of its dark green needles. They are surprisingly soft and pliable to the touch. You inhale its faint, clean, and resiny scent, an aroma that is sharp, refreshing, and uniquely its own, like the smell of polished wood and forgotten forests. There is a deep practicality woven into the history of this peaceful giant. In ancient times, the wood of the yew was prized above almost all others for the crafting of the legendary English longbow, a weapon that turned the tides of famous battles and shaped the maps of nations. The very same tree that offers solace in a graveyard also provided the power for war, a silent guardian through both conflict and peace, embodying the full spectrum of the human experience. Local legends passed down in hushed tones whisper that these ancient trees possess a deeper magic that their roots drink, Not just water from the earth, but memories from the soil, absorbing the stories and whispers of all those laid to rest beneath their sheltering boughs. It is a beautiful and comforting thought, a notion that the memories of those gone are not lost, but are instead stored, safeguarded within the living, breathing wood, a library of souls written in rings and sap. You find a perfect resting spot upon a large, exposed root, curved by time into a smooth, natural bench. You settle onto this polished wood, leaning back against the immense and solid trunk. It feels utterly immovable, a permanent anchor in the flow of time, and a wave of profound security washes over you. From this vantage point, you have a wonderfully framed view of the moonlit cemetery through a delicate latticework of dark, needled branches. You notice the ground beneath the yew's canopy is mostly bare, creating a soft carpet of fallen brown needles. This is not neglect, but the tree's own natural defense, a way of creating a quiet, personal space for itself in the world. Your eyes catch a small, determined black beetle making its diligent way across a gnarled root before disappearing into a crack in the soil. This tree is its own entire ecosystem, a world within a world. You tilt your head back, looking up through the intricate web of branches. Through small gaps, you are granted fleeting glimpses of the starry sky, little pinpricks of distant light from the universe peeking through. The sound of the gentle night breeze is transformed here. It is no longer a sigh, but a softer, more intimate whisper as it combs through the dense needles. It creates a soothing, hushed rhythm, like the distant ocean heard from inside a giant seashell. You feel a deep and undeniable sense of safety and enclosure under the vast, protective canopy of this ancient being. It has patiently witnessed hundreds of harsh winters and thousands of soft, glowing moons just like this one. Your own worries, the mental list of tasks awaiting you tomorrow, the faint anxieties of modern life, they all feel incredibly small, distant, and insignificant under the timeless gaze of this 1,000-year-old witness. Your breathing naturally begins to slow and deepen, its rhythm falling into sync with the gentle, rustling whisper of the needles. You feel the muscles in your shoulders, your back, your legs, all relaxing more completely, sinking deeper into the supportive embrace of the sturdy tree root beneath you. Your eyelids begin to feel pleasantly heavy, the weight of them a gentle invitation to rest, as you watch the slow, hypnotic dance of shadows shifting and merging on the grass beyond. The ancient yew seems to be sharing its own accumulated calm with you, a gift of profound stillness earned over centuries of silent observation. You accept this gift gratefully, feeling the weight of its peace settle deep within your bones. Your mind begins to drift as aimlessly and peacefully as the light breeze that carries the faint, clean scent of resin. The sharp edges of your own consciousness start to soften and blur, gently melting into the peaceful environment that surrounds you. You are no longer just a visitor sitting beneath a tree. You feel completely at one with the tranquil night, a seamless part of the deep silence, the layered history, and the gentle, breathing dark that holds it all. The separation between you and the world dissolves into a single, quiet unity. From your seat beneath the ancient yew, you let your gaze drift across the graveyard, settling on a section that feels markedly different from the rest. Here, the stones are perfectly uniform, arranged in straight, unbroken lines that stretch into the distance with a quiet, almost military precision. Each marker is simple yet dignified, white marble glowing faintly in the moonlight, its surface catching the glow in a way that makes the edges sharp, almost crystalline against the dark, velvet grass. These are the graves of soldiers, men whose lives were claimed in conflicts long since consigned to history books. The uniformity is striking a collective expression of honor, grief, and remembrance that communities have cultivated for centuries, a way to recognize the sacrifices of those who fought and fell far from home. You rise slowly, stepping toward the edge of the soldiers' section, moving along the orderly rows of white marble markers. The silence here is deep and almost tangible, a heavy hush that magnifies the smallest sounds. The soft crunch of your footsteps on the grass, the rustle of a lone leaf drifting in the night breeze, the distant call of an owl echoing across the grounds. Your gaze lingers on the engraved names, ranks, and dates, each stone a quiet testament to a life once lived. PVT, James Miller, 5th Infantry, 1898 to 1918, only 20 years old. You imagine the trenches of France, the mud, the relentless thunder of distant artillery, the fear gripping him far from home. Perhaps he clutched a letter from his mother in one hand, a rifle in the other. Each name murmurs a story abruptly ended, a whisper of existence cut short by war. Some areas are marked by clusters of stones, heavy with losses from a single battle, the sheer number staggering. The rows themselves speak louder than any speech, memorializing sacrifice in stone and memory. Small flags, faded poppies, and modest tokens of remembrance sit before certain graves, offering faint bursts of color beneath the moonlight. The air here feels charged with duty and courage, yet paradoxically, it is a space of profound calm. The conflicts are long over. Only silence remains, absolute and enduring, a quiet peace earned through unimaginable sacrifice. Your thoughts drift to even older conflicts, the forgotten skirmishes and wars of centuries past. Archaeologists sometimes uncover the remains of Saxon or Viking warriors, their bodies buried with swords, shields, or helmets. Each discovery is a fragment of a long-lost story, a puzzle piece that hints at courage, loss, and the human desire to honor the dead. Ahead you see a larger monument, simple in its design, its inscription humble, known unto God. These are the graves of unknown soldiers, the anonymous men whose names, faces, and histories have been erased by time and circumstance. There is something profoundly moving about this humility, the admission that even the greatest heroism can slip into obscurity, yet still commands respect and reverence. A single gravestone draws your attention, carved with a delicate rose, simple and elegant, bearing the name Thomas. Someone loved him deeply. That love, etched into marble, remains far longer than the sorrow of his passing. You imagine hands small, deliberate, tender, choosing the design, placing the stone just so, leaving a permanent trace of devotion. There is beauty in such gestures, a reminder that human affection, even when confronted with loss, seeks expression in permanence. The faint, distant drone of an airplane cuts through the still night, a modern intrusion that contrasts sharply with the echoes of century-old battles. It reminds you that time flows onward, layering new histories over old, building lives on top of past sacrifice. Yet even amid these ongoing rhythms of life, the moon casts its impartial light over the graves, illuminating them in the same silvery glow it once shone on the battlefields themselves. It seems to watch, impartial and eternal, witnessing human courage and folly alike. You pause, taking a deep breath. The cool night air feels like a balm against your skin, cleansing, pure, almost sacred. Gratitude swells quietly in your chest, for the peace you enjoy, for the lives that made it possible, for the small rituals of remembrance that survive centuries. It is not guilt that you feel, nor obligation, but a deep, abiding respect, a commitment to remember and to honor. You find yourself standing a little straighter, exhaling more fully, aligning yourself with the dignity of this space. Turning away from the military section, your eyes sweep back over the older, less orderly stones of civilian graves. The contrast is stark. Irregular headstones, scattered and uneven, bearing the names of men and women whose lives followed quieter rhythms, whose deaths were marked with simpler rites. Yet under the same starlight, the distinctions fade. Both sections converge in the same deep, unbroken silence, a single testament to mortality and memory. The owl hoots again, but its call no longer seems lonely or plaintive. It feels like a sentinel, confirming that the peace here endures, maintained without effort or ceremony. You sink back slightly into the grass, letting the stillness enfold you. The night seems to slow with each breath, the mind emptying itself of distraction, settling into a pace as deliberate and measured as the crossing of the moon. You feel fully present, unhurried, suspended in a quiet communion with countless lives, with sacrifice, and with enduring peace. The world feels at once weighty and gentle, monumental and intimate. Here, under the indifferent yet tender gaze of moon and stars, all is still. All is well. You are a part of this continuum, a witness, a participant in a ritual older than any living memory, and yet immediate, personal, and profound. The silence and reverence deepen your awareness of the space, drawing you into a contemplative rhythm with the resting soldiers and civilians alike. Each heartbeat seems measured against the cadence of history, each inhalation a shared acknowledgement of lives given, lives lost, and lives remembered. The graveyard, under the night's soft illumination, is no longer merely a place of death. It is a sacred archive of human courage, devotion, and enduring memory, a place where sorrow is tempered with honor, and peace is earned, held, and shared. You breathe in the cool, fragrant air, and in this moment, you surrender fully to the serenity, letting the quiet become complete, whole, and sustaining. As you continue your slow, deliberate walk through the graveyard, you notice remnants of a recent gathering. Scattered across several graves are small glass jars, each once holding a flickering tea light, now spent and blackened at their wicks. A few weathered bouquets, faded yet carefully placed, lean against the headstones, their petals curling under the gentle weight of time. The scene is a quiet echo of traditions spanning continents and centuries, a ritual of remembrance that transforms stone and soil into a canvas of light and memory. You think of Mexico's Dia de los Muertos, when families set out vibrant marigolds and candles to guide the spirits of their ancestors, and of Japan's Obon Festival, where lanterns float along rivers, tracing invisible pathways for returning souls. In Europe, too, All Souls' Day brought similar gestures. Families lighting candles at graves to honor the departed, small beacons of devotion and love that illuminate the darkness. The faint, sweet scent of melted wax still lingers near one of the jars. You imagine the cemetery a few nights before, bathed in the warm, golden glow of dozens of tiny flames. Each candle flickered independently, yet together they formed a quiet constellation of devotion, a living network of memory. Shadows danced softly across the headstones, elongating and retreating as the flames shifted in the night breeze. You picture families standing quietly, speaking softly to those who are gone, leaving gifts of light, and flowers as a declaration. You are remembered, you are loved, you are not forgotten. In that shared act of care, grief and joy are intertwined, sorrow transformed into luminous community. You bend and pick up one of the glass jars. The surface is cool against your fingertips, smooth and slightly sticky with residual wax. Its purpose for the year fulfilled, it holds nothing but quiet memory now. You place it carefully back exactly where you found it, a gesture small and reverent, a nod to the continuity of care that links past to present. For a long moment, you simply stand and listen, to the rustle of grass, to the whisper of the night wind through branches, to the soft sigh of the world settling in on itself. Then, as if the cemetery itself were conspiring to surprise you, your mind plays a trick. Between two distant headstones, a soft bluish light flickers for a fraction of a second, gone before you can focus fully. It is fleeting, insubstantial, and yet undeniably there just enough to make you pause, to wonder. Perhaps it is moonlight caught in a droplet of dew, or the determined glow of a firefly, stubborn in its night journey. Perhaps it is something older, something more whimsical, a will-o'-the-wisp or a tiny spirit glimpsed at the edges of perception. You smile, not with fear but with delight, as the idea of a secret light, hidden and ephemeral, brings a gentle thrill. The night allows its mysteries, subtle and unclaimed, and in them you feel invited. You lift your gaze to the stars, their distant fires casting constellations across the dark sky. Each twinkle feels like a reflection of the earthly lights below, as if the heavens themselves participate in this quiet ritual of illumination. Your heart resonates with the thought that we are drawn to light in darkness, whether for practical guidance, emotional comfort, or spiritual connection. The imagined flicker of blue makes the surrounding shadows seem softer, more alive, as if the world has been dusted with a touch of enchantment. Even the rustling leaves, the uneven ground beneath your feet, and the contours of distant headstones appear more whimsical in this subtle illumination, as if a layer of magic has settled over the landscape. You continue walking, each footstep soundless upon the thick carpet of grass, and feel a curious lightness, a sense of buoyancy that seems to lift your body slightly above the earth. You are carried forward by curiosity, reverence, and a quiet, meditative calm. The air itself seems charged, not with electricity, but with a kind of memory, a cumulative energy of centuries of devotion, sorrow, and care. You inhale deeply, the breath cool and sweet, and it feels as though you are drawing in starlight itself, the essence of distance, time, and quiet wonder. From afar, the low hum of a distant highway reaches you, but it is muted, softened by the layers of trees and stone. It becomes part of the background, a sleepy, earthly murmur beneath the ethereal silence of the graveyard. The juxtaposition of human activity and enduring stillness reinforces your place in this moment, a conscious observer of both the fragile and the eternal, moving slowly through a space that holds the presence of countless others. There is no impulse to capture this moment with a photograph, to reduce it to a token or image. The experience is too alive for that. It is to be lived fully, inhaled, and absorbed like sunlight or rain. You notice your heart slowing, the rhythm settling into the pace of the night, in harmony with the measured crossing of the moon across the sky, with the gentle flicker of light and the whisper of wind. Time stretches, elongated and soft, so that each step, each breath, each blink of the eye carries a sense of eternity. Everything is precisely as it should be. The jars, the faint scent of wax, the imagined flicker of blue light, the stars above, the soft rustle of leaves, the undisturbed shadows, all of it converges in a singular meditation on memory, beauty, and quiet presence. Your awareness expands to encompass the entire space, a communion with centuries of human care and ritual, with the small gestures of love and remembrance that transcend even mortality. The night feels tender, expansive, and playful. It is as if the graveyard has opened its arms, welcoming you into a continuity of ritual and reflection, of life, loss, and remembrance. You walk on, every movement mindful, every sense alert yet calm, floating through the luminous quiet. In this simple, unassuming act of presence, the world itself becomes a vessel of wonder, offering you a rare and precious gift, to feel fully, to witness fully, to be quietly alive in the embrace of memory and light. Your path curves gently to a secluded corner of the grounds that feels older than the rest, set apart by a low, crumbling wall built from rough-hewn stone. Moss has begun to claim the edges, and small tufts of grass poke through the cracks, as if nature itself is quietly reclaiming what was once fashioned by human hands. Beyond this wall lies the original monastic cemetery, once attached to the small abbey whose ruins still linger at the property's edge, skeletal and silent, a faint echo of the lives that were lived in devotion and simplicity. The headstones here are modest, humble markers carved from unadorned stone, often little more than a simple cross or a rectangle inscribed with Latin text. Names frequently end with frater or monachus, brother or monk, reminders that these men lived not for recognition or comfort, but for contemplation, labor, and prayer. The grass is longer here than in the newer sections, dotted with clover and small daisies that have folded their petals against the cool night air. The stillness is palpable, denser somehow than in other parts of the cemetery, as though silence has gathered in layers, thickened over centuries, creating a private, sacred enclave. You run your hand along the top of the crumbling wall, feeling the cool grit of sandstone under your fingertips, textured and worn smooth in places where countless hands may once have rested. A stone bench is set into the wall, its surface mottled and pitted with age. You settle onto it, feeling the cold seep through your clothes and into your body, a grounding, meditative sensation that links you to the generations who came before. You imagine the monks tending these grounds, burying their brothers with solemn, simple rites, their faith enough to carry them through grief without ornament or fanfare. Their lives followed a rhythm as steady as the seasons, each day a balance of work, prayer, and reflection. In the hush of the night, you almost hear the faint echo of a chant drifting on the breeze, a single, sustained note of devotion that seems to hang in the air long after it was sung. It is an auditory ghost, a soft reminder that this space was once alive with quiet purpose and reverence. Nearby, your eye is drawn to a flat stone slab that marks a cenotaph. It rests cleanly upon the earth, with no body beneath it, an empty tomb commemorating someone who could not return home. Perhaps a monk lost at sea, or a brother felled on a distant journey, whose memory had to be honored even in absence. The smooth, weathered surface is oddly pristine, maintained or perhaps visited by unseen hands over the centuries. There is something profoundly beautiful in this gesture, a memorial to an absence, a tribute to memory itself, both sorrowful and tender. A small stone cross near the slab draws your attention further. Perched upon it is a robin, chest puffed, tilting its head as if assessing your presence. You hold your breath, allowing the bird its moment, and after a few heartbeats, it flits off into the darkness, a tiny pulse of life amid the quiet expanse of the cemetery. Its departure reminds you that life and death coexist here, one giving meaning to the other, the cycle continuing without rush or concern. The bench you sit upon bears faint carvings along its edges, swirling patterns worn almost smooth by centuries of rain, wind, and touch. These designs, once lively expressions of artistry, are now subtle suggestions, reminders of human care, gradually surrendered to the slow persistence of nature. You feel privileged to be here, in this secluded corner not intended for casual visitors, but for the private grief and memory of a closed community. The monk's solitude, once absolute, now extends to you in a quiet invitation to sit, to breathe, to witness, and to honor. The moon casts pale light across the plain crosses, stretching their shadows long, and sharp across the grass, creating a slow, shifting dance that reminds you of time's passage. Here, the weight of centuries is tangible, gentle but insistent, encouraging stillness and contemplation. There is no urgency in this place, no demand for action. You are free simply to be present, to inhale the night air and allow it to fill your lungs with its cool, damp scent redolent of old stone and fertile earth. It is the smell of history itself, patient and unhurried, carrying with it the quiet rhythm of life lived with intention and care. You find your breathing naturally aligning with the pace of the place, slow, deliberate, meditative. Each inhale draws in the scent of damp earth and stone, and each exhale releases tension and thought, leaving only awareness, presence, and reverence. The peace here is profound yet complete, a fullness that embraces without conditions or expectation. You feel as though the monk's devotion extends to you across time, a legacy of quiet love, care, and attentiveness. In the stillness, you notice the smallest details. The way moss creeps along the base of a cross, the subtle tilt of another marker, the faint trace of an inscription, almost lost to time, and the careful placement of small tokens, perhaps offerings left long ago, reminders that grief and memory persist quietly, patiently across generations. The entire space hums with presence, not in sound but in spirit, a pulse of centuries, a rhythm of lives devoted to contemplation, care, and humility. You sit longer, absorbing the weight and clarity of the place. The monk's cemetery is not silent in emptiness. It is full, vibrant with memory, with devotion, with a stillness that nurtures the soul rather than dulls it. Each stone, each patch of grass, each shadow cast by the moonlight is a testament to human tenderness and the enduring pursuit of peace. You are an honored guest here, a participant in a continuity of devotion that stretches back centuries, and as you match your breath to the slow, deliberate rhythm of this sacred place, you feel its quiet blessing settling over you, welcoming you fully into its embrace. Leaving the monk's yard, you step into a part of the cemetery from a slightly later period, the 17th and 18th centuries. The stones here tell a different story. They are larger, more ornate, and display a dramatic expression of both grief and social status. This was the era of Baroque opulence, followed by neoclassical restraint, and the artistry reflects the styles of the time. Statues soar skyward, their forms both dynamic and expressive, capturing emotion in ways that feel almost alive. You stop before a magnificent angel carved from pristine white marble, perched atop a tall pedestal. Its wings are half folded, caught mid-motion, and its face tilts upward, gazing toward an unseen heaven. Every detail is exquisite, feathers sharply defined, robe folds flowing naturally, subtle curves of the body hinted beneath the drapery. Moonlight glances off the polished surface, giving it a soft inner glow. Such angels served as guardians of graves, symbols of divine protection, guiding the soul and comforting the living, a serene presence standing watch over memory, love, and sorrow. A few steps away, you notice another statue upturned, a sorrowing figure draped in mourning attire, leaning against a broken column. It symbolizes a life cut short. The sorrow carved into its stone face is raw and palpable, resonating even centuries after it was made. You reach out and touch the angel's smooth foot, amazed at how the sculptor transformed hard, cold marble into something that seems almost soft, delicate, and almost living. You imagine the hands that shaped it, skilled and patient, carving not merely stone, but a fragment of human emotion, perhaps even a dream or hope of the sculptor's own. Not all the statues are somber. One angel catches your eye, its expression unusually curious, almost whimsical, as if surprised to find itself perched atop a gravestone. A gentle smile tugs at your lips. The sculptor must have had a mischievous sense of humor, leaving a trace of personality amid solemnity. You imagine him in a sunlit workshop, dust covering his clothes, whistling as he places the final touches, giving this celestial being a spark of life and mischief. It reminds you that even in grief, humanity persists, leaving playful fingerprints across time. The statues form a silent congregation beneath the night sky. Their shadows stretch across the ground, intricate and shifting, a complex dance of light and darkness as the moon moves. You find a bench facing the curious angel and sit, feeling as if you have a companion for the evening. Around you, each figure, each face is unique, a testament to love, loss, and memory. The artistry of these stones is a gift beyond the families who commissioned them. It is a gift to anyone who passes through the centuries, turning the cemetery into an open-air gallery where the medium is eternity and the theme is remembrance. The night feels richer in their presence, filled with quiet, stoic beauty. Your chest warms with appreciation, a deep, almost physical acknowledgement of art, history, and human expression. No words are needed. The statues communicate fully through posture, expression, and detail. Their message, love, loss, hope, and peace flows directly into your awareness, calming the mind, slowing the heartbeat, and centering the spirit. You lean back on the bench and gaze at the curious angel, sharing a silent moment across centuries. Its gaze lifts to the stars, mirroring your own, a private, wordless connection that feels both whimsical and profound. The simplicity of sitting there, in shared stillness with stone, is unexpectedly moving. In that quiet communion, history, art, and human emotion converge, leaving you with a sense of presence, wonder, and gratitude. As you remain seated, you notice small details. The subtle imperfections in the marble, the faint marks of the sculptor's tools, the tiny chips and wear that time has left on the surfaces. These imperfections add to the authenticity of the experience, reminding you that these figures were created by real hands, for real lives, not merely as abstract ideals. The moonlight enhances the contrast between shadow and light, making every curve and contour of the angel's robes and wings almost tangible, as though you could trace them with your fingertips. You breathe slowly, intentionally, letting the serenity of the statues infuse you. Each angel, each plurant, seems to speak in its own voice, of devotion, mourning, hope, protection, and even quiet humor. You feel connected not only to the past, but to the ongoing human impulse to create, to honor, and to remember. The statues are more than memorials. They are companions, teachers, and witnesses to the persistence of love and memory through time. Time feels suspended here, as if the world has paused to honor the quiet dignity of this place. You could remain on the bench for hours, perhaps centuries, enveloped in contemplation. The night, the moon, and the statues converge with your presence, forming a singular, meditative experience, a reflection on mortality, artistry, and the enduring tenderness of human emotion. In this stillness, a truth becomes clear. Beauty persists even in sorrow, and through it, we are never truly alone. The curious angel before you, its gaze lifted toward the stars, embodies both solemnity and a gentle playfulness. Its silent presence feels like a companion, bridging centuries and whispering reminders of love, hope, and the small touches of personality that endure beyond time. Every curve of stone, every fold of its robe, and every subtle expression captures centuries of human care, grief, and devotion, making the past feel immediate, tangible, and profoundly alive. Reluctantly, you rise from the bench, carrying with you the resonance of this encounter. The angel's quiet vigilance lingers in your mind, a gentle nudge that memory, art, and love surpass even the boundaries of time and matter. The path ahead feels hallowed, imbued with echoes of those who walked here before, and the quiet joy of witnessing enduring beauty. You carry with you the lessons of these statues, the grace found in sorrow, the care woven into memory, and the subtle humor that humanizes even the most solemn of creations. They become gifts from the past, illuminating the present, and reminding you that tenderness, creativity, and love are eternal companions on life's journey. The children's corner of the cemetery greets you with a different atmosphere, one that is quiet, intimate, and deeply tender. Here, the headstones are much smaller than those you've seen elsewhere, some no larger than a hardback book. They cluster together in a sheltered corner, tucked against a protective wall, forming a miniature landscape of remembrance. Each stone bears dates heartbreakingly close together, often marking lives that lasted only days, weeks, or a few short years. The cruel reality of childhood illness in past centuries made these plots tragically common, and yet they are imbued with a quiet, enduring grace. Families chose to bury their children together here, finding solace in proximity and shared sorrow. A testament to love that endures even in the face of grief. The stones themselves are tender in their artistry. Many bear small carvings, lambs symbolizing innocence, cherubs frozen in eternal slumber, roses that never had a chance to bloom. You kneel beside one marker, tracing the faint outline of a rosebud, feeling the impossibility of its growth, mirrored in the brevity of the life it commemorates. In this corner, the air is still, almost reverent, carrying a hush that feels like it was made to hold sorrow safely. The silence is not empty. It is filled with love, memory, and the quiet pulse of devotion. Beside some of the older stones, you notice modern tokens, weathered teddy bears, small trinkets placed with care, a bridge across centuries of mourning. Each object testifies to the universality of grief, to the fact that the ache of loss has always been paired with the enduring power of love. Many of the smaller markers are carved from softer, white marble, more vulnerable to the slow erosion of time than the sturdier granite seen elsewhere. Some names have faded almost entirely, their letters reduced to faint impressions that the eye can barely trace. It is as if the stones are quietly surrendering their duty, retreating into anonymity, after generations of carrying the weight of remembrance. Yet their silence is not erasure. It is a gentle, respectful fading, a passage from physical memorial to pure memory. You place your hand lightly on the smooth, cool surface of one of these tiny stones, feeling a connection that transcends time. The love that placed it here remains potent, an invisible energy that endures beyond the material of the stone itself. Above, the stars twinkle gently, their light soft and unobtrusive, casting a distant comfort over this sacred corner. There is a sense of balance here, between sorrow and serenity, between absence and love. You rise slowly, allowing the profound emotions of the space to settle around you. The sadness you feel is quiet, acknowledged, and intimate. It is a soft ache rather than a sharp pang. There is peace woven through it, the kind that comes from witnessing love preserved even amid impermanence. It is a reminder of the fragility of life and the preciousness of each breath, each moment. The silence encourages reflection. You inhale deeply, filling your lungs with the clean, cool night air, and exhale, letting any lingering tension, anxiety, or distraction fall away. In the stillness of this place, you are reminded of the gift of being alive, of the privilege of bearing witness to lives and loves that have passed. You sense a quiet gratitude for your own health, your own time, and a determination to honor every present moment, understanding how easily it could be otherwise. The night air, gentle and soft, feels like a protective embrace, wrapping around you as if acknowledging your awareness and care. Leaving the children's corner, a quiet warmth lingers within you, a gentle love that balances the cool night air. The corner's lessons stay with you. Love endures, tenderness matters, and grief, when honored with care, transforms into a form of beauty. The path beneath your feet feels softer here, as if the earth itself recognizes the sanctity of this small, sorrowful enclave. Each step is deliberate, a silent tribute to the lives commemorated, and to the human capacity for enduring care and remembrance. As you walk, your eyes catch details you might have overlooked before, the subtle tilt of a stone, the delicate remnants of a carving, the thoughtful placement of objects left as offerings over time. Each element adds to the sense that this corner is alive in its own quiet way, not through movement or sound, but through presence. It hums softly with memory and affection, a rhythm like a heartbeat beneath the stillness of the night. The experience invites reflection. You sense that the love concentrated here, the care and grief poured into every tiny marker, can extend beyond this corner. You carry it forward, a gentle attentiveness to the world and to yourself. The quiet strength of these memorials teaches patience, compassion, and mindfulness, reminding you that even in sorrow, beauty persists. With each step away, you feel the presence of the children's corner lingering, a lasting impression of love, care, and quiet reverence, a gift that accompanies you beyond the shadows of stone and mist. Walking away, the emotions of the children's corner linger, weaving through you like a soft current. The sorrow and tenderness leave a quiet impression, but so does the sense of peace. The knowledge that life and love endure informs both visible and invisible. Each small stone, each carved figure, each artifact of grief becomes a lesson that, even in loss, there is care. Even in absence, there is presence. And even in the briefest life, a lasting imprint can remain by the time you leave the shelter of the wall. You are aware of the way your heart has shifted, attuned now to softness, attentiveness, and reverence. The night air still wraps around you. The stars above twinkle with quiet persistence, and the earth beneath your feet continues its patient support. You carry forward a sense of gratitude, a mindfulness of your own life, and a recognition that, even in sorrow, there is profound beauty. The children's corner, with its tiny stones and enduring love, has imparted a gentle wisdom. That compassion, tenderness, and memory are eternal, and that taking the time to witness them transforms sorrow into a shared, sacred presence. A soft, low mist begins to gather along the ground, moving silently from the cooler, shaded areas near the old walls and clusters of trees. It drifts over the grass, curling around your ankles like liquid silver, catching the moonlight and glowing. Faintly, a luminous, ethereal presence. The air turns damp and cool against your skin, refreshing and delicate, carrying with it the earthy scent of moss, soil, and a faint trace of flowering plants long past their prime. With each slow step, the mist seems to swirl and shift around you, a gentle, living thing, masking the boundaries between earth and sky, past and present. Through this growing haze, shapes begin to emerge, stone Celtic crosses rising up from the ground, their silhouettes at once ancient and familiar. These crosses are some of the oldest markers in the yard, worn smooth and pitted by centuries of wind and rain. Their arms are encircled by stone rings, a symbol of eternity, unity, and the meeting of heaven and earth. The carvings, though softened by time, still convey a quiet majesty, a testament to countless generations who passed this way, their faith and hope inscribed in enduring stone. You approach the nearest cross, and the mist seems to part as you move, opening a delicate corridor of air around its base. The stone is cold and damp beneath your fingertips, droplets clinging to the grooves of the intricate knotwork that runs along its edges. These interlacing patterns twist and spiral endlessly, a visual echo of infinity, impossible to trace from beginning to end. The mist dampens sound, muting even the smallest movement. Your own footsteps feel distant, almost foreign. Each cross stands like a sentinel, watching silently as the fog thickens, their dark shapes becoming more dramatic, almost otherworldly. Some of the older crosses tilt slightly or point in directions that differ from the alignment of newer graves, a subtle reminder of time's inexorable passage. Legends whisper that these crosses slowly follow the stars, twisting over centuries to track the precession of the Earth's axis. Reality may be simpler. The cross is likely aligned to the original church, itself built with a slightly different orientation, but in this shrouded night, the story feels true. They appear as markers from a vanished world, guides to a peace that transcends both time and human memory, ancient navigational tools for the soul rather than the body. You let your hand linger on the wet, rough stone, feeling the weight of history pressed into every groove. Some carvings are deep and sharp, others smooth and nearly indistinct, worn by countless seasons of wind and rain. Moving slowly down the row of crosses, you notice how their tops disappear into the low, shifting mist like the masts of ships, sunk beneath a calm, white sea. The world seems to shrink, reduced to a rhythm of one cross, then the next. Past and future fade away. Only the present remains, the damp chill of the air, the soft glow of stone in moonlight, the subtle movement of mist curling and twisting with each breath. Your mind, usually crowded with thought and distraction, is empty, focused entirely on the delicate, silent ceremony of walking among these monuments. The mist clings to your hair and jacket, tiny beads of cold moisture forming, a gentle caress. that heightens your awareness of every sensation. You inhale slowly, the air clean, moist, and slightly sweet, a mix of living earth and the memory of rain. Each step you take is deliberate yet effortless, a walking meditation, the rhythm of movement echoing the slow, unhurried pulse of the landscape itself. You are aware of nothing else, yet everything is vivid, the soft sound of distant branches rustling, the occasional drop of water falling from a leaf into the grass, the gentle sway of fog that transforms the cemetery into a dreamscape, delicate, mutable, and entirely alive. The faint outline of the moon hangs in the sky, a hazy silver beacon, guiding you effortlessly through the mist. The ground beneath your feet feels steady, reassuring, and you sense no fear of losing your way. As each new cross emerges from the fog, a quiet joy wells within you, as if you are discovering a secret long held by time itself. The mist moves around you in soft, swirling patterns, hypnotic and almost musical, drawing your attention to the subtle majesty of the night and the enduring presence of these ancient stones. Here, time loses all meaning. You could walk among the crosses endlessly, wrapped in this gentle, moving silence. Each breath brings clarity. Each step deepens the calm that fills your being. The cemetery shifts from a place of sorrow to a sanctuary, a sacred threshold where past, present, and eternity converge. You feel an intimate connection to the craftsmen who shaped the stones, to the generations who tended them, to the earth beneath you, to the stars overhead. The luminous fog, the cold, worn stone, and the endless interwoven patterns remind you that life is cyclical, that even in quiet abandonment, presence and beauty endure. With each deliberate step, you move in. Awareness, a silent ritual of observation and acceptance. The mist curls, the crosses rise and fall, and a profound, unspoken peace envelops you. The cemetery becomes a living meditation, timeless and serene. The night, the fog, and the steadfast stone converge into a single, contemplative experience. Slow, quiet, and entirely immersive. A secret world revealed for your eyes alone. The crosses continue ahead, emerging and receding in the mist, guiding you onward. You feel the soft thrill of discovery, mingling with the deepest kind of calm. A sensation that is at once grounding and transcendent. Here, among the fog and the centuries-old stones, you are wholly present, entirely yourself, and yet a part of something far greater, an endless, gentle, and patient world that has existed long before you and will continue long after. The mist curls and shifts, a living companion to your quiet pilgrimage, lulling you deeper into a state of peace, so complete that it feels as though you could walk among these ethereal sentinels forever, suspended in a perfect, luminous stillness. As the mist slowly lifts, revealing more of the graveyard's quiet expanse, you find yourself before a monument unlike any you have yet encountered. It is a life-sized statue of a woman, seated in solemn stillness. Her head is bowed, her face hidden beneath the hood of a cloak that drapes over her shoulders and down to the base of the monument. In her hands, she holds a vase tilted downward as if in offering or in sorrow. This is a mourning figure, a common motif in Victorian cemeteries, designed to symbolize grief, loss, and the enduring weight of sorrow. The marble she is carved from is dark and veined, absorbing the pale moonlight rather than reflecting it, giving her a gravity that feels almost alive in the stillness of the night. The craftsmanship of the statue is remarkable. Each fold of her robe is carved with such exquisite precision that the stone seems to ripple and soften, almost like real fabric draping over her form. The vase in her hands is equally intricate, its neck wrapped in delicate braiding and adorned with subtle floral patterns, a testament to the care and reverence of the sculptor. A single tear, sculpted in stone, runs down her cheek, a frozen, eternal symbol of sorrow, capturing grief in a silent, enduring moment. Across cultures and centuries, stories of weeping statues have persisted. Icons of the Virgin Mary, angels, and other sacred figures were said to shed tears of water, oil, or even blood, often inspiring awe, devotion, and wonder. You bend closer to the vase she holds. Rainwater has pooled in its opening from a recent shower, and one solitary drop clings to the rim, catching the silver glow of the moon. You watch in suspended anticipation as it hangs, poised between sky and stone, and then falls with a soft, almost inaudible plink onto the wet marble below. The act is natural, yet in the hush of night it feels deliberate, a silent, poignant echo of the sorrow the statue embodies. Historians debate the origins of legends about weeping statues. Some suggest they arose from pious fraud, designed to inspire devotion. Others argue natural processes like condensation or rainfall produced the illusion of tears. Still others insist the stories were born from the human need to see one's own feelings mirrored in the world. Standing here, it hardly matters. The beauty of the moment is undeniable, and it touches you deeply. You feel empathy for the family who commissioned this statue, seeking a way to express grief that words could never fully contain. The figure is their testament, a vessel for sorrow that endures across time. You sit down on the damp grass before her, accepting the wetness without care. The night is still again, a mist having moved on elsewhere. The air feels clean, fresh, and fragrant with the mingled scent of soil and dew. The statue seems almost like a companion, a silent observer who shares the contemplation of the night. With you, you wonder whom she mourns. A husband, a child, a friend? The answer is lost to time, the particulars erased, but the expression of grief remains universal. The feeling is immediate and palpable. It does not require knowledge of the story behind it to touch your heart. Grief, you realize, is a constant in human experience, as natural and inevitable as the rain that now trickles from her vase. As you continue to sit, allowing yourself to sink into the quiet intimacy of the moment, you notice a small spider has woven a fine web between the statue's wrist and the lip of the vase. Tiny droplets of mist cling to the threads, catching the moonlight like miniature stars. The web is delicate, almost invisible unless you look closely, but it represents life, continuity, and renewal. Even here, among symbols of loss, creation persists. Life finds a way to exist alongside sorrow. This realization brings you a profound sense of comfort. The sadness you felt moments ago softens into something warmer, calmer. Loss is a part of the whole cycle, as natural as the growth of the grass beneath you or the arc of the moon above. You breathe deeply, taking in the cool night air, the faint scent of damp earth, the sound of the faint plink of water from the vase. Each inhalation brings a sense of calm. Each exhalation releases lingering tension. The statue, the web, the night, and the soft rhythm of falling water become part of a shared, meditative experience. You feel permitted to acknowledge your own quiet sadness, to let it be present without judgment, just as the statue allows grief to exist silently and wholly. You realize that sorrow is not something to be hidden, but a natural, enduring part of life, to be acknowledged, accepted, and integrated into the broader fabric of existence. Eventually, you rise, your muscles loose, your body feeling lighter, unburdened. You give the statue a small nod, a silent thank you for sharing this moment, for holding grief so beautifully and allowing you to witness it. As you turn to leave, another drop falls from the vase, landing with a gentle sound that seems softer this time, like a quiet punctuation to your presence. It follows you as you walk away, a subtle echo in the immense silence of the graveyard. The mist has dispersed completely now, leaving the night crisp and clear. The stars are bright, their ancient light shining steadily down, and the earth feels steady beneath your feet. In that shared quiet between stone and sky, grief and renewal, you recognize the power of this place, a reminder that sorrow is never wasted, that even in loss, life continues. The interplay of art, nature, and human emotion leaves a lasting impression on your heart. You carry with you the memory of the statue, the small drop of water, and the fragile spider web, a quiet testament to life, mourning, and the subtle poetry that binds the two together. In the stillness, the graveyard becomes more than a resting place for the dead. It is a place where the living can reflect, grieve, and find peace. You walk slowly away, each step accompanied by the faint echo of the falling drop, a final note of reverence to the enduring dialogue between loss and beauty, memory and presence, night and eternity. Your walk through the graveyard feels like moving backward through time. Each step brings you among older and older markers, their forms fading, their presence deepening. Near the entrance, headstones are crisp, names and dates clear. Further in, the stones grow simpler, worn flat by centuries of weather. Eventually, you reach a section believed to be the original burial ground, perhaps 1,000 years old. Here, there are no upright monuments, only flat slabs covered in moss, nearly level with the earth, edges softened by rain and wind. The surfaces are smooth, inscriptions worn away until only faint grooves remain. You kneel, fingertips brushing the stone, tracing what could be the ghost of a letter, a curve, a line, a faint echo of a life long gone. In this quiet, tactile connection, the weight of history and the passage of countless generations presses gently against your awareness, and you feel both small and profoundly linked to those who came before. It connects you to something far older than the familiar rituals of your own culture. You think of the ancient Greeks, who practiced the rite of Charon's obol. A coin, an obol, would be placed in the mouth or on the eyes of the deceased, a payment to Charon, the ferryman who would row the soul across the river Styx into the underworld. Without this payment, the soul might wander the riverbanks for 100 years, restless and unclaimed. It was a powerful gesture, a tangible expression of care, a way to bring order and comfort to the unknowable journey beyond life. As your fingers rest on the cool stone, you imagine a coin now green with age, sunk beneath the earth, waiting silently in the darkness below. Archaeologists sometimes uncover such coins, lying in graves where the body has long since dissolved, leaving nothing but the offering behind. Some suggest these coins were tokens for unseen guides, gestures to deities or spirits whose names are lost to memory. The impulse survives today, the simple, universal acts of leaving flowers, stones, or mementos on graves, a way of sending something of ourselves, a part of our care and love. With the departed as they continue their journey, the mist has completely vanished now, leaving the air crystalline and sharp. The stars above are brilliant, each one a pinprick of cold, white light in the infinite dark. The Milky Way stretches faintly across the sky, a smudged and delicate river of light that seems impossibly far away, yet impossibly close in significance. You lie back on the soft grass, next to one of these ancient slabs, feeling the earth cool and firm beneath your body. You tilt your head toward the heavens, and the perspective is dizzying, almost disorienting, yet deeply calming. You are simultaneously insignificant and profoundly connected, a single consciousness resting on a planet that has witnessed countless generations, gazing up at the light of stars that began their journeys long before your ancestors walked the earth. Your worries shrink to their true size, trivial and fleeting in comparison to the span of time and space pressing gently against your awareness. The grass beneath you is soft, cool, slightly damp, pressing lightly against your neck, ears, and hands. The scent of rich, fertile earth rises to meet you, a blend of decay, life, and renewal. It is the smell of cycles completed and begun again, of lives that have ended and yet continue to nourish new existence. You feel the solid grounding, weight of the planet beneath you, its bulk supporting and holding you safely as it spins through the void. Time feels suspended. Your breathing slows naturally, falling into an unforced rhythm, and your body grows heavy and relaxed, sinking deeper into the comforting embrace of the ground. You are not merely in the graveyard, you are part of it. The stones, the earth, the memory of those who have gone before, and the vast sky above all seem to merge with your own consciousness. The barriers between you and history, between you and the earth, between you and the cosmos, dissolve completely. You are a single thread in a tapestry woven over millennia, a conscious point in a long continuum, fully present in a moment of perfect, peaceful existence. There is no need to think, no need to act, no urgency. There is only being. The stars twinkle silently overhead, distant suns whose light has traveled for millennia just to touch your face tonight. You honor this quietly, closing your eyes to deepen the connection to the earth beneath, feeling the stone slab, the soil, the grass, the subtle pulse of life and decay all around you. You hear your heartbeat in the stillness, a steady, unassuming drum, the rhythm of your own life, joining silently with the symphony of the night. Each pulse reminds you that you are alive, part of a continuum that stretches far beyond individual existence. A timeless peace washes over you, profound and absolute. Here, in this quiet, ancient graveyard, you feel the weightlessness of being, simultaneously infinitesimal and eternal. The past presses gently into the present hums quietly beneath you, and the stars reach across the darkness to hold you in a cosmic embrace. You are small, yet fully significant simply for bearing witness, for existing in this place and time. The stones beneath your fingertips, the soil beneath your body, and the light of the universe above all converge into one perfect, unbroken moment of presence. You inhale deeply, tasting the cool, earthy air, and exhale slowly, letting every tension, every worry, every thought of what is to come dissolve into the night. You lie fully surrendered to the experience, the memory of the dead, the continuum of the cosmos, the enduring rhythm of life and death around you. You are a part of this eternal meditation, one living note in the vast, intricate harmony of existence, a conscious witness to the quiet grandeur of the universe and the history etched into the land itself. Here, on this soft, mossy grass, beside stones that have weathered centuries, under a sky filled with stars older than imagination, you feel, finally, the full, unbroken continuity of time. You are here, you are part of it, and it is enough. From your place on the cool grass, just inside the low wall of the cemetery, your gaze stretches outward across the moonlit countryside. The landscape rolls gently in soft, silvery curves, dotted here and there with darker, shadowy patches of woodland. Each hill and hollow seems serene, bathed in the gentle glow of the moon. Yet your eyes are drawn to a series of long, low mounds that rise and fall in a rhythm too deliberate to be natural. These are ridge and furrow, the traces of the medieval open field system, faint echoes of agricultural life that existed hundreds of years ago. Beyond them, the outlines of crumbled walls, barely distinguishable from the surrounding grass, hint at the presence of buildings that have long since returned to the earth. House platforms, foundations, the faint impression of streets, all that remains of a village that time has erased from the map dot. The thought settles on you quietly, like a soft weight. This cemetery is all that remains of a community that once thrived here, its people living, working, and dying in the rhythm of seasons, leaving behind their small mark upon the earth. Perhaps the Black Death swept through this place in the 14th century. Perhaps the soil grew poorer. Perhaps the pull of larger towns drew the living away. The village itself has vanished. The streets, the homes, the names lost entirely. But the dead remain, resting under carefully tended stones, tended by hands long gone, their memory preserved silently. It is a haunting thought, not one of grief, but of extraordinary endurance. The physical traces of the living have faded, yet the landscape remembers. The wind stirs across the open fields, moving in long, lonely swirls that whisper through the ken. Grass, there is a hollow quality to it, a sound of absence, yet it is not mournful. It feels almost like a lullaby, a song composed by the land itself, a soft celebration of completion and rest. Life has returned to these spaces in its own forms. Rabbits slip between shadows. Foxes pause at the edge of hedgerows. Birds stir in the trees and take flight in the silvered night. The village may be gone, but the land itself has healed. It is a living testament to resilience, a quiet demonstration of the cyclical nature of existence. Everything returns to the earth eventually, and that is neither cruel nor sorrowful. It is natural, necessary, and beautiful. You shift slightly, rising onto your elbows, and study the patterns of moonlight and shadow stretched across the ancient fields. The furrows create delicate, rhythmic lines across the terrain, like music frozen in earth. You imagine the ghosts of thatched roofs, the faint laughter of children playing, the sounds of footsteps along cobbled paths, but these images are soft, dreamlike, impossible to pin down. They drift just beyond clarity, ephemeral and fleeting, yet their presence is tangible in a sense that is neither intrusive nor uncanny. The fields themselves are calm, an eternal ecological peace pervading every curve and hollow. You feel your own pulse slow, your breathing falling into sync with the quiet heartbeat of the night. The permanence of this impermanence impresses itself upon you. Everything changes. Even the most vibrant communities will eventually return to dust, yet life continues, adapts, and flourishes. Your worries, anxieties about legacy, or what will remain after you are gone, feel less urgent, less heavy. Here, in the hush of these moonlit fields, you are reminded that participation in the cycle itself, simply existing, observing, bearing witness, is sufficient. You lie back again, letting the grass cradle you. The stars seem brighter, more numerous, each one a silent witness to the slow, deliberate passage of time. The land beneath you seems to hum with satisfaction, contentment, the deep tranquility of a place that has completed its story. The village's narrative, now erased from human memory, is not truly gone. Its tale survives in the furrows of the fields, in the stones that mark the graves of its inhabitants, in the land itself. The memory is quiet, almost invisible, but enduring. You feel a connection to it, a sense of shared existence across centuries. The quiet knowledge that so many lives once unfolded here fills you with a gentle awe. The land has carried them forward, transforming the echoes of their lives into patterns that now coexist with the rhythms of nature. Their story may be ended, but it is not lost. You feel yourself letting go of time, of concern for permanence or legacy. Sleep tugs softly at your consciousness, coaxing you into surrender, and you allow it. The moonlight bathes the fields and the cemetery in calm silver, and the land's quiet energy flows into you. You feel your body sink deeper into the embrace of the grass, the gentle contours of the earth beneath you, grounding you, supporting you, holding you safe. The winds that move through the furrows carry not sorrow, but a serene reassurance, a reminder that endings are natural, that closure is a form of beauty. The village rests. Its streets are invisible, its homes long dissolved, yet the land itself preserves the resonance of the lives that once flourished here. You close your eyes and imagine the centuries folding over themselves. generations rising and fading into the soil, and realize that your presence, brief as it is, becomes part of the ongoing cycle. You exhale slowly, feeling tension dissolve, and a profound peace settles in your chest. Here, among the graves, the furrows, and the soft hills, you sense a timeless continuity. The village sleeps, the earth nurtures what has returned to it, and you are a witness to the quiet, magnificent endurance of existence. The fields, the stones, the wind, and the moon all speak in their silent language, a language of closure, continuity, and renewal. You lie there, part of the story now, feeling the immense calm of endings that are neither tragic nor fearful, but simply transitions into another state of being. The grass beneath you, the stars above, the sound of the distant night, it is. All enough. You are enough. And for a moment, you rest fully and completely in the eternal embrace of the land, the village, and the quiet cycles that outlast all things. A sudden, deep, resonant sound breaks the calm of the night, but it does not startle you. It is the bell from the old church tower, striking the hour with a richness that seems to vibrate not only through the air, but through your very chest. The first strike reverberates like a living pulse, a solid, sonorous note that commands attention while remaining gentle. Bong! The sound spreads outward, brushing across the tops of yews and echoing through the graves and moss-covered stones. The second strike follows, then the third, each tone rolling across the grass and into the quiet earth. You feel it as much as you hear it, a wave of vibration that lingers in your ribs and bones, fading just before the next strike asserts itself. Bong, bong, bong. The bell continues, each note full, precise, and rich. It travels in invisible, ripples through the churchyard, touching every corner with a resonance that is at once grounding and ethereal. 11 strokes mark the hour, measured yet grand, and in their rhythm there is an unspoken harmony, commanding yet gentle, like the slow, steady heartbeat of the universe itself. Between the strokes, the air seems to quiver, and the silence around you deepens, carrying the weight of all that has been and all that will come. Church bells have held this quiet authority for centuries. They are more than instruments. They are markers of time, custodians of ritual, and witnesses to the passage of countless lives. Bells have tolled for weddings and funerals, for the welcoming of morning and the end of evening, for joy and sorrow alike. Their sound bridges the material and the sacred, connecting generations across the span of history. The strokes you have just felt have repeated in this very place for hundreds of years, knights and ladies, townsfolk and travelers, all pausing to attend this invisible ceremony of time passing. Now, in their company, you are part of the same continuum, a witness to the enduring rhythm dot. As the final note fades, the silence that follows is profound, fuller than the quiet that preceded it. It is as though the bell has swept the air clean, leaving behind a hush that carries its own weight. You sit up, drawn to the tower itself. Its square, ivy-softened stones rise before you, solid and patient. Behind the louvered shutters, you imagine the bell resting massive, polished bronze, clapper still, its work for the hour complete. The tower seems almost alive, a quiet guardian of centuries, standing watch over the graveyard and the endless passage of time. Old stories accompany the image of the bell. Folklore tells of bells that toll on their own in the dead of night, of ghostly chimings unaccompanied by any bell ringer. Some claim these ethereal tones mark the passage of a spirit or commemorate events of long past significance. Perhaps the wind or the shifting of the ancient timber frame creates the sound. Some whisper, but the stories remain cherished nonetheless. They carry warmth, a sense of enchantment and continuity, and tonight, after hearing the real bell, they feel entirely compatible with the experience. The legend does not frighten. It invites reflection, lending the tower an aura of mystery without threatening the calm of the graveyard. You move closer, stepping across dew-damp grass toward the tower. Your hand brushes against the sun-warmed stone, and a subtle vibration resonates through your palm, a faint, lingering hum from the metal within. It is almost imperceptible, but unmistakably there, as if the building itself has a heartbeat, a quiet, patient pulse that has endured for centuries. You raise your eyes toward the shuttered opening of the belfry, a square of deep black framed against the gray stone. The bell has completed its task for the hour, and now it rests. Its purpose has been fulfilled with perfection, and the night welcomes the return of silence. A wooden bench built into the wall of the church offers itself to you. You settle onto it, leaning back against the stone, feeling the residual warmth of the day seep into your muscles. Your body relaxes fully, heavy, yet supported, as if you have been cradled by centuries of care. The ground beneath your feet, the stones around you, the tower above all contribute to a sense of permanence and stability. You close your eyes and allow the quiet to envelop you, appreciating the absence left by the bell as much as its sound. The echo lingers in your mind, a metallic whisper that seems to settle across your thoughts, smoothing them, aligning them with the rhythm of the hours. There is a profound order in the bell's toll, a structure that exists beyond human urgency. Time here seems fluid, measured not in minutes or seconds, but in the deliberate resonance of bronze striking stone. Between each strike, your thoughts drift freely, loosened from demands or clarity. Each inhalation brings calm. Each exhalation releases tension. Your heartbeat falls into a gentle, steady rhythm, subtly aligned with the fading echo of the bell. In this moment, you are a participant in a ritual older than yourself, a quiet witness to a tradition that stretches across generations. The night feels perfect. The open graveyard stretches before you. The solid stone of the church supports you. Behind, and the cool scent of moss and earth mingles with the stars overhead. You are safe, unhurried, and entirely present. Sleep begins to pull at the edges of your awareness, coaxing you gently into rest. The bell's rhythm lingers in your mind, guiding you toward stillness, preparing you for surrender without urgency or fear. You feel the deep satisfaction of presence, the quiet assurance that simply being here aligned with this centuries-old ritual is enough. No action is required, no performance demanded. Your role is simple: to witness, to exist, to move in harmony with the enduring cadence of the night. Even after the final note has faded, its memory remains, a soft, invisible vibration in your ears and chest. It is comforting, reassuring, a reminder that some things endure. Time passes, worlds change, yet the bell continues, marking hours and maintaining the sacred rhythm of the community. You breathe with that rhythm, part of a timeless meditation on sound, silence, and the passage of time. Under the stars, the night is whole, complete, and profoundly serene. From your seat by the old church wall, your gaze drifts downward, drawn inexorably to the stones immediately surrounding you. These markers are among the oldest in the yard, their surfaces spared the full harshness of time by the overhanging eaves of the roof. Unlike the later gravestones, which bloom with ornate inscriptions and intricate carvings, these stones are simpler, geometric, and enigmatic. Their shapes and designs feel elemental, almost primal, a language of form and pattern that predates the words now etched into the world around you. Spirals curl inward endlessly, looping and folding upon themselves in hypnotic rhythms. Interlocking knots wind over and under in a seemingly infinite dance. Some patterns resemble labyrinths or tangled threads, while others evoke symbolic motifs you've seen elsewhere, though their meanings are lost to you. These markings feel ancient in a way that goes beyond age. They were carved in a time when written language on graves was not common, when symbols and shapes carried spiritual, cultural, or protective power. Perhaps they represent the sun, tracing its daily arc across the sky. Perhaps the cycle of life and death, eternal and unbroken. Or perhaps they were intended as sigils to guard the slumbering dead beneath the earth. You find yourself tracing one deep spiral with a finger, feeling the centuries of weather, the subtle rounding of edges, the smooth depression left by hand and chisel, long gone. The spiral is both comforting and hypnotic, a tactile message from a past. Its meaning is obscure to you now, but the intention, the care, the thought, the deliberate creation is palpable. Every stone seems to speak in the silent language of design. A jagged zigzag may represent water, a serpent, or the concept of rebirth. A stylized tree rises, simple but resonant, suggesting growth, endurance, or life's persistence. You imagine the person who carved it, perhaps pausing to reflect, hand resting on chisel, feeling the stone give under careful pressure. Their thoughts, their beliefs, their hopes now vanished, and details still resonate faintly, carried across centuries through the medium of stone. There is no tragedy in the loss of meaning, only the quiet wonder of continuity. Even though the original significance is unknown to you, the symbols are still fulfilling their purpose, marking, honoring, expressing. The silent conversation continues, one-sided but profound. You feel a strange kinship with this unknown artisan, a connection forged through time and shared attention. Moonlight spills over the wall, silvery and crisp, illuminating the carvings with a sharp, ethereal clarity. Shadows drop into the grooves, deepening the relief of the spirals and knots, making each line appear deliberate, almost more intentional than you realized in the dim light before. The patterns, highlighted by this celestial glow, feel alive, pulsing with a rhythm that seems to echo your own heartbeat. You reach for your phone not to check the hour, but to bring a closer light to the stone. The bright LED contrasts starkly with the soft moonlight, revealing new details. Minute chisel marks that speak of painstaking effort, patches of pale green lichen, and subtle variances in the stone's hue. It is as if a modern tool allows you to read an ancient text, uncovering nuances that had remained hidden until this precise moment. Yet even as the light reveals, it also intrudes. You turn it off, allowing the gentler glow of the moon to reclaim the scene. The softer light feels respectful, an acknowledgement of the age and quiet dignity of this place. You lean back against the solid church wall, closing your eyes and letting the carvings linger in your mind's eye. Spirals, loops, and knots appear behind your eyelids, dancing slowly, endlessly, in a rhythm without beginning or end. They are hypnotic and soothing, a visual mantra that guides your thoughts into a tranquil, meditative state. Your mind feels lighter, unraveling gently not into confusion, but into a kind of serene openness. The symbols have performed their work. They have drawn you into a rhythm older than your own consciousness, a rhythm embedded in stone, in human intention, and in the patient passage of time that your body responds in kind. Muscles loosen, tension fades, and the wooden bench beneath you becomes a perfect cradle. The wall at your back is solid and reassuring, offering a tactile stability that mirrors the quiet, eternal steadiness of the markers themselves. Your breath deepens, slow and even, each inhalation drawing in calm, each exhalation releasing lingering strain. You feel entirely safe, profoundly peaceful, cocooned in this small sanctuary beneath the stars. The air is cool and fragrant with the scent of moss, stone, and night, carrying the faint suggestion of earth and dew. You are aware of the world beyond this moment, fields, hills, distant roads, but it seems impossibly far away. Here, time has slowed. The present is stretched, measured not in hours or minutes, but in subtle, careful observation and the gentle rhythm of being. Sleep creeps in at the edges of consciousness, tugging gently at your awareness. It is a welcome visitor, one that you Allow without resistance. You feel your body surrender to gravity, your head resting lightly, your shoulders softening. The patterns of the stones, the echo of the carver's intent, the quiet cadence of the moonlit night all converge into a sense of completion. You are part of a continuum, a fleeting presence in the long story of this place, sharing space, attention, and respect with those who came before. Each spiral and knot, each faded symbol and careful line has fulfilled its silent promise, guiding you toward rest. The world beyond the churchyard continues, as it always has, but for this moment. You are suspended in a calm older than memory itself. You welcome the drowsiness, the deep, wonderful fatigue that feels both physical and spiritual. Your thoughts soften, drifting without effort. Sleep draws you fully, sweetly, without fear or hurry. The symbols, the stones, the centuries, they remain with you, imprinted in body and mind. You feel gratitude, quiet and profound, for this one-sided, timeless conversation, for the patient work of hands long vanished, and for the gentle night that cradles you. In this ancient communion, you find yourself ready to drift entirely, carrying the enduring serenity of stone, symbol, and shadow into your dreams. The vicar of the church, an elderly man with a gentle, lined face and eyes that seem to hold both kindness and the quiet wisdom of decades, notices you sitting among the gravestones. He offers a soft smile, one that carries an unspoken understanding of time, patience, and observation. His approach is slow and deliberate, each step softened by the grass underfoot. In a voice as gentle and worn as the old stones around you, he asks if you would like to see something special before you leave. You nod, a flicker of curiosity and reverence stirring within you. Without hurry, he leads you around to a side door you hadn't noticed before. Its dark wood is aged, reinforced with iron bands, and he unlocks it with a large, ornate key, the metal cool in his hand. He does not take you into the sunlit nave or toward the lofty ceilings above. Instead, he guides you downward into the earth beneath the church. A narrow, winding stone staircase descends before you, each step echoing softly, carrying centuries of quiet footsteps. The air grows cooler, damper, scented with old stone, dry earth, and a faint trace of incense that clings like memory. Enter the crypt, a small, solemn space carved from stone. Though modest in size, every surface radiates history. Stone sarcophagi line the walls, their lids adorned with effigies of knights in armor and ladies with hands folded in prayer, faces calm in eternal rest. Each pose is dignified, each expression serene. The vicar points to one particularly ancient sarcophagus, dating from the 12th century, its features worn smooth over time, the sharpness of life softened into quiet abstraction. Standing there in the hush of the crypt, you feel the centuries press gently around you, a weight that is at once palpable and comforting, neither oppressive nor frightening. Your footsteps echo lightly on the flagstones. You think of the sprawling catacombs in cities like Paris or Rome, tunnels stretching for miles, housing millions of souls. This crypt is small by comparison, yet its intimacy is profound. The vicar explains it was sealed for centuries and only rediscovered 100 years ago. Many catacombs remain unmapped, he notes, a reminder that the past has hidden layers, some that will never be fully known. Quietly enduring beneath our feet, waiting, the vicar shines his flashlight along the stone walls, revealing faint medieval paintings. A saint kneels in prayer, hands clasped, eyes lowered, while decorative borders twist into delicate patterns. Time has softened the once vivid colors to gentle ochres, muted umbers, and warm browns, yet their quiet beauty remains. This hidden gallery beneath the church feels sacred, a secret preserved in stone and shadow. The vicar remains silent, letting the stillness settle. Each breath feels deeper, weighted with the calm of centuries, as if the air itself carries the enduring serenity of those who have long rested here. A profound peace envelops you, a sensation of protection and finality. The noise and demands of the world above feel impossibly distant. Here, in this subterranean sanctuary, time is slower, gentler. Knights, ladies, and forgotten parishioners lie in undisturbed repose, their vigil unbroken across centuries. You are granted a fleeting communion with them, a silent witness to their eternal rest. When the vicar guides you back up the winding stone staircase, each step carries you from the cool, quiet earth to the night's soft embrace. He locks the door behind you with a gentle click, smiles once more, and vanishes into the shadows. The crypt's chill clings briefly to your skin, a reminder of the layers of history beneath your feet, while the night air welcomes you back. Calm, continuous, and serene as you pause on the path. The memory of the carved stone faces, their serene expressions, their eternal stillness, fills your mind. There is nothing morbid here, only dignity and quiet comfort. These individuals have lain undisturbed through wars, revolutions, and the inventions of countless generations, from the printing press to the internet. They remain untouched by the haste of the world above, their rest unbroken, absolute. The thought of their long, peaceful sleep is profoundly soothing, and you feel a natural alignment with this rhythm. A gentle instinct rises within you to honor this stillness, to give yourself permission for rest, to follow, in a small way, the example set centuries ago. A long, slow yawn wells up from deep inside, stretching your jaw and bringing a tear too. Your eye, it is a yawn of shared understanding, a silent agreement with the calm and dignity you have witnessed. Above, the stars twinkle in quiet concurrence, each one a tiny affirmation that the universe too moves in cycles of wakefulness and rest, vigilance and release. You feel ready to let go, to surrender to the night just as they once did, part of a long human chain stretching across time. The path leading back to the gate glows softly in the silver moonlight, inviting a slow, deliberate walk. Each step is attentive, the dew glimmering on grass, the gentle sway of yews, the subtle hum of night insects. Every shadow, every shimmer of light, every muted sound seems magnified, part of a choreography older than yourself. The memory of the crypt, its cool air, its quiet authority threads through your consciousness, a reminder that sanctuaries exist not only in stone but in the spirit, accessible whenever you pause long enough to notice. With each step, a quiet joy rises within you, the sense of participating in something timeless. The vicar, the crypt, the resting knights and ladies, they form a continuum of care and dignity. The night feels protective, luminous, almost conscious. Your body unwinds further, each movement meditative, each inhalation drawing calm, each exhale releasing tension. You carry a fragment of the crypt's serenity with you, a tangible piece of history's enduring hush. Reaching the gate, you pause, taking in the dark yet welcoming field beyond, the soft rustle of grass in the night breeze, the distant hills bathed in moonlight. The vicar's gift, the glimpse into a hidden sacred layer of the past, lingers in your mind, a blessing of perspective and peace. Stepping forward slowly, deliberately, you return to the world above, carrying within you the stillness, dignity, and quiet power of the crypt. As you begin your slow, deliberate walk back toward the gate, the vicar's stories linger, curling around your thoughts like the mist that clings to the base of gravestones. He had spoken of old folklore, tales rarely written, but passed down, orally through generations of sextons and parishioners, people who had cared for the church and its grounds. Every graveyard, he said, carries its own personality, shaped by the lives it has held and the memories it preserves. These stories are not meant to frighten, but to reassure and protect. They speak of guardian spirits, invisible presences that roam the night, ensuring the sanctity of the ground. Some are said to be the spirits of the first priests buried here, others devoted parishioners whose love for the church continued beyond death. Some remain unnamed, quietly watching with gentle care. The legends vary, yet the feeling is the same. A belief that the graveyard is alive with a benevolent presence. A subtle movement catches your eye, a shadow, flitting across. The ground as a tree branch sways in the breeze. For a fleeting instant, it seems to coalesce into a familiar, attentive shape, like an old friend nodding in acknowledgement. Moonlight and imagination blend seamlessly, leaving you comforted rather than unsettled. On a night like this, when the veil between past and present feels almost imperceptibly thin, it is easy to believe in guardians. The air itself feels protective, not menacing, as if the world itself guides you gently along your path. Passing the statue of the curious angel, you notice something new. Perhaps it is the angle of the moonlight, or the shadows cast differently now, but the angel's face seems to carry a quiet, conspiratorial smile, aware of the thoughts fluttering through your mind. You smile back, a silent acknowledgement bridging centuries. These stories, like the subtle exchange with the angel, are a form of living storytelling. They give the graveyard character, an identity shaped by devotion, memory, and imagination. The path ahead feels softer, clearer, inviting. Moonlight glints off the grass, casting silver lines along the way, while shadows of ancient yews reach outward like protective arms. Each step is slow, thoughtful, allowing the tranquility of the night to settle into your body. You feel part of something larger, connected to countless generations who have walked these paths before. The guardians, if they exist, silently guide you, acknowledging your peaceful presence, letting you pass unhindered. A subtle warmth spreads through your limbs, a fatigue that is deeply satisfying, not from exertion, but from the absorption of beauty, history, and calm. It is a nourishing tiredness, making each breath sweeter, each step more deliberate. You notice the night sounds, the faint trill of crickets, the whisper of wind across distant stone harmonizing with your heartbeat, creating a symphony of stillness and subtle motion. It is a lullaby orchestrated by the natural and the timeless. Stories of guardians add enchantment to the evening, transforming ordinary silence into something rich and protective. The night here is not fragile. It is strong, resilient, alive. You feel held in its embrace, safe from the anxieties and demands beyond the walls. Each step forward carries that assurance, the invisible watch of the legends merging with the tangible comfort of moonlit earth. Every detail, the curve of a branch, a stone glinting silver, the gentle sway of grass forms, a subtle choreography guiding and reassuring you dot as the iron gate rises into view, dark against the lighter field beyond. You slow further, savoring these final moments of serenity. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying the scent of dew-soaked grass and damp earth, encapsulating the entire experience of the graveyard. You take a long, mindful breath, committing every nuance of sound, scent, and light to memory. This is a place that will stay with you, an inner sanctuary to revisit whenever the outside world becomes too loud. Walking beneath the gate, you leave it open, a silent welcome for the next soul who may come seeking peace. There is no hurry. The night allows your pace to match its own slow rhythm. Fatigue feels comforting now, a pleasurable reminder of the harmony absorbed. The guardians, real or imagined, have acknowledged your presence, and in turn, you have respected theirs. This mutual exchange fills you with gentle, profound contentment. The moonlight intensifies, illuminating paths, stones, and shadows with tender clarity. Grass glimmers silver, each blade a thread in the fabric of the night. Statues, yews, distant hills, they all participate in this silent luminous performance, and you are both spectator and player. A pulse of quiet joy threads through your chest, rooted in the knowledge that this piece is actively maintained, alive, and enduring. You are cradled in the strength of its permanence, a temporary visitor experiencing something eternal. Each breath draws the night deeper into you. Each exhale releases tension. The cricket's soft trill seems directed at you alone, a lullaby of attentiveness and reward for your presence. Every sense is sharpened yet balanced. The night soothes, protects, and affirms. You are immersed in this enchanted space, satisfaction spreading from feet to head. The open field beyond the gate is serene, paradoxically full of life, memory, and watchful tranquility. The guardians have completed their rounds, deeming you peaceful enough to leave unaccompanied, carrying a fragment of their quiet authority. A luminous connection tethers your heart to this place's history and magic. You walk with measured grace, your steps echoing softly, carrying the calm, protected heartbeat of this ancient sanctuary. Every motion becomes deliberate, shifting weight, the sway of arms, the tilt of your head to absorb moonlight on gravestones. Legends, guardians, and enduring stones are now part of your consciousness, interwoven with your own being, reminding you that peace is a living, present experience. You feel satisfaction in having honored the place with quiet attention, participating briefly in a narrative spanning generations. Approaching the last stretch of the lane, the gate looms closer, yet your steps remain unhurried. Each second stretches, filled with moonlight, shadow, scent, and sound, as if time itself has slowed to accommodate the perfect rhythm of this night. You commit these sensations to memory, the sway of trees, the shimmer of grass, the quiet hum of life, the imagined watchfulness of guardians. This treasure will remain within, a fragment of the graveyard's eternal peace to revisit whenever needed. You pause just before the wrought iron gate, your body instinctively halting as your gaze turns for one last, lingering look at the graveyard, glowing beneath the full brilliance of the midnight moon. Every detail of the landscape is revealed, in silvery blue light, soft yet striking, as though each stone, each tree, each shadow has been meticulously painted by the night itself. The contrasts are mesmerizing. The highlights shimmer faintly like silver dust. The shadows deepen into velvety folds that flow gently into the corners of ancient tombstones, creating a harmony between light and dark that feels almost sacred. In this moment, time itself seems to stop, as if the world is holding its breath, suspended in perfect stillness. A scene more real than memory, yet softer than reality. This place has always carried a quiet purpose, a sanctuary for those who seek solace. Families arrive to remember loved ones on solemn anniversaries. Historians trace fragile genealogies through centuries of inscriptions. And solitary wanderers, like yourself, come in search of something that cannot be named, a connection, stretching across the ages, a bridge to those who came before. The graveyard fulfills its role flawlessly, offering reflection, peace, and communion, letting each visitor leave carrying a fragment of its timeless serenity. The silence is profound, so complete that the rhythm of your own heartbeat becomes a tangible presence, a low, steady drum resonating with the surrounding stillness. And then, almost imperceptibly, a faint musical note drifts across the night air, high and crystalline like a single chime from a glass harmonica, lingering for a moment before dissolving into the moonlit darkness. Its source is unknown, perhaps. Wind, perhaps stone, perhaps something older than memory itself. Yet it carries the subtle signature of the night's profound calm. You recognize, instinctively, that the sound is not one to fear. It is the signature of the midnight hour, a subtle audio watermark marking the deep, eternal peace of the night, a melody born of cooling stone, shifting earth, and the slow, patient rotation of the planet itself. Its resonance is quiet yet profound, as if the world is breathing in harmony with you, offering a delicate, almost secret blessing of serenity. You feel your chest swell with a soft satisfaction, and your mind settles into a calm as deep and encompassing as the night surrounding you. Every lingering trace of anxiety dissolving like mist beneath the morning sun. Your body is heavy with relaxation, warmed from within by contentment that expands and lingers, filling your limbs and heart with a gentle, grounding sense of completeness. The journey, which began with curiosity and quiet anticipation, has delivered far more than you could have hoped for: perspective, connection, and a rare intimacy with the long, slow story of humanity. The presence of those who came before, whose lives are recorded in the gravestones and whispered by the wind, seems tangible now, a quiet comfort that reaches into your soul and leaves it more open, more peaceful, more alive than it has felt in a long time. A yawn escapes you, deep and full, signaling absolute readiness for sleep, while your eyelids feel perfectly weighted and irresistibly drawn toward rest. Every movement slows, deliberate, floating as you take one final, absorbing glance at the landscape of stones and moonlight. Each detail, the curling moss, the shadow of a distant yew, the soft glimmer of silvered stone, feels sacred and enduring, imprinting itself on your memory, a quiet treasure you will carry with you long after you step away from this nocturnal sanctuary. Turning your back to the scene is both a decision and an act of reverence, a deliberate acknowledgement that the experience has become part of you. As you push gently against the cold iron gate, it swings open easily, and you step through, leaving it ajar for the next wandering soul who will come seeking the same peace. Outside the wall, the night is familiar, yet subtly transformed, the air alive with the sense of having absorbed the quiet gravity of the graveyard. The spell of the place is no longer in the stones alone. It resides within your own chest, your mind, and your body, a private, luminous treasure. You begin walking down the quiet country lane toward home, your steps slow, deliberate, and mindful, each one carrying with it the lingering calm of the graveyard you have just left. The trees on either side sway gently in the night breeze, their leaves whispering softly, a sound that blends seamlessly with the distant trill of crickets, whose song feels like it has been composed especially for you. Moonlight spills across the path in shifting patterns, illuminating the subtle curves of fence posts, the shimmer of dew on blades of grass, and the intricate shadows cast by gnarled tree branches, guiding your way without ever demanding attention. Each breath you take is deep and refreshing, the cool night air filling your lungs and washing away the final threads of tension or worry, leaving your body and mind attuned to the serene rhythm of the night. Every detail along the lane seems sharper yet softened at once, caught in the gentle glow of moonlight, creating a sense of timeless clarity. You move as if in a dream, each step measured, each movement flowing seamlessly into the next, the lane stretching before you in a calm, silent rhythm that feels infinite. The world around you seems alive, but entirely at peace, as though it has paused to cradle you in its embrace, offering a gift that asks only to be noticed, absorbed, and held within. You sense a quiet transformation within yourself, a deeper understanding that time can move slowly, that peace can be tangible, and that you are capable of carrying this profound serenity wherever you go. The lane curves gently, leading you toward the soft, welcoming glow of your home in the distance. Each step resonates with the calm you have absorbed from the moonlit stones, the graveyard silence, and the faint, crystalline note that still lingers in your memory. By the time you reach your door, your mind is beautifully empty, a canvas, washed clean by the night, while the crickets continue their song like a personal lullaby. Stepping inside, you carry the quiet majesty of the midnight graveyard within you, a treasure that will accompany you through sleep, dreams, and waking. Hours a gentle reminder of the night's enduring, silent generosity. The walk home stretches before you like a soft, silver ribbon under the gentle light of the moon, winding through hedgerows that sway slightly in the quiet night breeze. Your body moves almost automatically, each step guided by memory and muscle, while your mind floats freely in a vast ocean of calm and quiet, untethered by the concerns of the day. The air is cool, carrying the subtle scent of damp earth and distant flowers, filling your lungs with slow, refreshing breaths that make each moment feel peaceful and alive. The images of the graveyard replay gently across your mind, each one as soft and comforting as the turning pages of a cherished childhood book. You see the curious angel leaning over a mossy stone, the ancient yew tree stretching its shadow across weathered ground, and the swirling mist that curls around the Celtic crosses moving like silent spirits in the night. These visions do not disturb you. They soothe, reminding you of the quiet magic that exists in places touched by history and time. With each step, the warmth of your own bed waiting for you pulls at your thoughts, urging you forward with a comforting anticipation. The feeling of nearing home makes your movements slightly more eager, yet deliberate, each footfall a small rhythm of return. When you reach the door, your key turns in the lock with a familiar click, a sound that feels like the final note of a peaceful melody. Inside, the house is dark, bathed only in the silver glow of the moon filtering through the windows, illuminating the rooms with a soft, serene light. You move through your home without turning on a single light, your hands brushing over familiar surfaces. A chair worn smooth by years of use, a table that has held countless memories, each touch reconnecting you with your own history. The journey through the past, walking among tombstones and trees, has made the present feel even more welcoming, a soft contrast of comfort and familiarity that you embrace fully. You begin to prepare for bed slowly, each action carried out with a sense of ritual and care, grounding you in the present moment. The splash of cool water on your face is refreshing, washing away the lingering traces of the day, while the rhythmic motion of brushing your teeth brings a steady, calming focus. To your mind, the feel of soft, clean pajamas sliding against your skin is a gentle embrace, a tactile reassurance that your sanctuary awaits you. As you settle beneath your duvet, the sheets are smooth and cool, and the pillow cradles your head perfectly. Every sensation adds to a profound sense of comfort, a cocoon that promises deep rest. Closing your eyes, you do not enter an empty darkness. Instead, you are surrounded by the soft, silver glow of moonlight dancing across ancient stones. The cool dampness of the grass and the subtle scent of yew trees linger in your memory, merging with the silence of the graveyard that has followed you home. It is a silence steeped in centuries of quiet reflection, a presence that feels protective, enveloping you in calm and peace. Your body melts into the mattress, each muscle releasing tension, heavy and warm, perfectly anchored in comfort. Your breathing slows naturally, each inhale a gentle tide flowing in, each exhale carrying away the last fragments of wakefulness, thoughts dissolving into the soft darkness. The ordinary sounds of night, a distant car, the hum of the refrigerator blend seamlessly into this lullaby, reminders that the world continues while you rest safely within it. There is nothing demanding your attention, no obligations pressing upon your mind. Your sole purpose is to breathe, to let go, to drift gradually into a restorative sleep. The boundary between waking and dreaming begins to blur as your consciousness floats on a calm, dark sea under a sky full of silent, watching stars. Memories of the graveyard transform into gentle, comforting dreams. Moonlit fields stretch endlessly, statues watch over paths with quiet wisdom, and ancient trees offer silent counsel through their presence alone. Every detail is soft, welcoming, and reassuring, a perfect continuation of the serenity you have carried home with you. You feel the weight of your body sinking deeper into the bed a sensation of heaviness that is both grounding and soothing. Each breath grows slower and more measured, exhaling tension and inhaling tranquility, until your mind is no longer wandering, but fully immersed in the quiet of the night. The moonlight seems to linger in the room with you, a silver guardian keeping watch, while the stars shimmer gently outside, their presence a companion to your deepening rest. Sleep wraps around you like a soft, dark blanket, cushioning you in. Safety and warmth. The peace of ancient stones becomes your own. The quiet of forgotten names fills your mind with gentle silence. You are completely supported, deeply tired in a way that is satisfying and healing, your body and mind ready to sink fully into the restorative embrace of night. All the sensations of comfort, the softness of your sheets, the cool pillow, the gentle rhythm of your breathing combine to carry you effortlessly toward the waiting world of dreams. Each moment stretches, elongated by relaxation, until the separation between your conscious awareness and the calm sea of sleep dissolves entirely. Your body rests heavy and secure, your mind untethered, floating peacefully amid the quiet presence of the world. The journey through memory, through the soft echoes of the past, has concluded, leaving you in the perfect, most present moment imaginable. A deep, healing, and utterly safe sleep, welcomed with the patience and warmth of a timeless night. You are safe. You are cherished. You are home. And with every slow, gentle breath, you drift further into a darkness that is alive with peace, filled with moonlight and memory, carrying you effortlessly into the restorative arms of the night. Every thought dissolves into the soft tide of rest, leaving only presence, comfort, and the serene knowledge that you have arrived, finally, at the sweetest destination. Complete, restful sleep. End of script. Thank you for listening, everyone.